Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Friday, May 15th. And I guess we got a risk-off start of the day. It started already in the overnight. It started selling off pretty good at the right at the open. Yesterday we closed at new highs, and and as you can see, we were all the way up here to the 75.30s and change. Maybe we were even higher than that. Let me see. Drag that down a little bit. Come on, there you go. Yeah, we were all the way up to this 75.39 here, but it stalled. So, and then we closed towards the highs and they looked pretty darn good. We had a nice little breakout to the upside. And overnight, you can see risk off. We retraced the whole day session from yesterday and a good chunk of Thursday session, and we went down all the way down here to 74.30s here in the overnight, and that's where we are now. And it's looking weak still. So feels like very much like this move out of the middle is going to get hammered. We'll find out. So news this morning, we get a little bit coming out here. We have at 8:30 we get Empire State and industrial production at 9:50. I don't think any of those can do much. I think the risk-off dynamic more likely has to do with this becoming or getting close to the weekend. They're done with the China trip. All the good news from that trip was driving the market yesterday. Now we're looking at the potential action in Iran over the weekend. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm not surprised at all that they're backing off a bit. I'm probably going to have a little bit of a risk-off day today, if my assumption is correct there. Doesn't necessarily need to happen that way. We are right now at the key area of support at the 74.30 to 40s. And if they can hold the line right around here, the 55, 30, 45, 35s here, we may have a shot at holding on to this game. That's basically a breakout point here. So the G prints started taking out this area, the 74.55s. So when that came out, that took us to yesterday. The analysis was that would take off the long buyouts. And today is we already passed that. So we're starting off range bound. I would start with the bias to the downside to see if they can take this lower. It feels very much like we are in a risk-off mode, at least in the overnight. Now that can obviously change right when the day session kicks in. It just depends, but overnight is definitely in a risk-off mode. And if this is more of a risk-off dynamic having to do with a weekend, I don't think we're going to see a ton of strength. Maybe a couple of runs to the upside. I'm not looking at new highs coming into this picture, but we had a couple of nice run-ups here, the blowout stuff happening here. It could be the last hurrah of a rally, the short-term rally here we had on the ES, but that's the way I would go about it. So yeah, let's go checking something here. So back up with this guy again. So initially, we're going to be looking to sell strength. Let's see if rotation's down. And I would look to sell against the, I would probably start at this level here around about where they're trading 74.45 and skip that for now. But against the 55s, the 65s up to this to London high at the 85s here for rotations down. If it starts trading above the 85s, maybe we'll back in action again. But I would look for short setups all the way up there for rotations down. When you get a big risk-off move like this in the overnight, chances are that we're going to see some sort of follow-through in the day session, especially when we have a reason for it. In other words, concern about action here in the range situation. All the pump and stuff like that around the Chinese trip is done, and nothing happens in terms of derailing anything there. Good deals made, I guess, and market rallied as a result. So 2 days in China, two pretty good spikes to the upside, and now we're backing off a bit. And we have, as I said, a lot of stuff potentially happening over the weekend. So we will see. That is not a done deal in the Persian Gulf just yet. So starting off with a lot from the short side, looking to sell strength all the way up here to that 74.85. Above that one, I'm shifting right back to the long side and see if they can take it higher again. If that, for some reason, the day session, yes, this is a shakeout in the overnight, and the day session just kicks back up again, we'll just be right back on it. But Right now, I'm looking for more weakness. So I would look to buy against these lower support areas, but as I said, with a bit of caution at this point. I'm back range bound. I'm looking for this to retrace. The big thing would be this level down here, 73.60s. That comes out, and that would be a big issue. If they run down here and then one of these support areas holds, yeah, we are technically right back in this lower area again. We are back in this lower support area. So that would be basically this move out of the middle, basically reversing itself. That would be a kind of usually an unusual thing, but it could certainly happen. If it holds around about where they're at, this could be a distribution building around 74.80, around about that area. But right now, we'll have to see how it develops. NASDAQ, that's the ES on the NASDAQ side. Usually NASDAQ is going to be worse. So we had a pretty good move to the upside here, and now we have big retracement going on. And this is what, from 7 down to 1. So we have a 600-point move to the downside on the NASDAQ already. So it's pretty brutal. But as you can see, we have a lot of range there too. I mean, unless they take out this lower area here at the 530s, that would be a big area, a big concern. But if they run into this lower area, there's room to run about there. But you have this rotation down. Yeah, so these guys are still moving lower. But take it down. So this we have a lower area down here at the let's see, this run down here we had the other day. They took that all the way down here. Let me see. You see yeah, they took it all the way down here to the what is that? The 650s. Yeah, there you have it. So this is the 750s. So 28, 750, 740, 750. This is it. So if this low here comes out, the rotation down from a little scare we had early in the week. If this rotation comes down and they start taking that out, yeah, that I would be concerned at that point. But you can see how much range we have these days. This is like massive range days, and there is a lot of opportunities with a lot of chop in that as well. Not quite sure how you trade it when it's like that. It's very easy to just get flat out run over. Or if you're right on the trade, you get in, you get to break even, you get stopped out, and they rotate back and forth more than 100 ticks. So it's like, gee, great. You traded 200 tick stops and you're wrong, you just lose your freaking, you know what I mean. So it makes it really difficult to trade a Nasdaq when it's that volatile and the range is this much, because you have to really be able to withstand a little bit of volatility in it. So and that's not easy. So I would look to sell strength early on here. The the intermediate spot to watch is going to be down here at the let me show you that in a bit. I'm slow on reacting here. But you have this area right here at the 29,060s, and that's a lower edge. That's a good midpoint. So I would look to buy against that area if it gets down there, looking for a long setup down there. I'd look to sell against the 250s, against the 380s, 430s, and the 480s for rotations down. And with the Nasdaq, always included level of 2 for good measure. So the 520s and the 550s on the upside here on the Nasdaq as well, just because it's so freaking volatile. But if these three areas come out, I think we're back in action again. If not, if they stall up here, then we probably are staying range bound. And I would watch this lower area at the 29,060s. They stalled there. They had some support there. They stalled there on the way down the other day for a bit, and then before they broke lower. And that if that area holds, we may stay in decent shape. If not, we're probably going to look for a rotation all the way down here to the lows again. So risk off kind of the start of the day and trade it as such. So there you have it. Now looking at the bond market, and that one gave a signal right from the get-go in overnight. You can see the bond market taking off like that. 1205 is like a point in the overnight. That's pretty unusual. So you see the overnight here, that's been straight shot to the downside. So when that happens, when he opens up like this and he just takes off to the downside, there is something going on. So there's, and I would say there's a risk off kind of a mood. Some issues going on now, going on now about the Iranian situation. Something is going to happen there, and chances are it's going to happen after the close this weekend. That's probably what the market is anticipating and repositioning itself accordingly. That's what I would say. So there you have it. So I would sell strength on the net on the I would sell strength on the ES, sorry, on the bonds, looking to against the 1111, 16s, 25s. If it starts trading about the 25s, 1125s, I think we may have a shot at retracing this. But right now, I would look for short setups against these levels. And as you can see on the bond side of things, this is not great. This is challenging this lower edge. We haven't been down here for a long time. So this is the bond market signaling something. They are taking out the key low support area. The yields are spiking, and there's definitely something in the works. So there you have it. So trade bonds for the short side. Trade ES and Nasdaq on the short side, at least to get started. And then let's see how this whole thing shakes out. But the cryptos hasn't done much. They just kind of going flopping around. The silver, gold, oil spiked up to 105. That's worse than they're noting. So the oil is to the upside as well. So oil is popping. It's all, I think, is concerned about what may happen over the weekend. So there you have it. That's how we get started. So I'm going to say good trading, guys. I don't think the news is going to do much. We have news at 8:30 and 9:15. Other than that, I would probably stay on the risk off kind of dynamic and see what the market is likely to want to do. If you get follow through right from the get-go, or if you get the day session start kicking in and hold and reverses all this weakness. Could be that the market looks like it, some players at least would look at it as a market, as a buying opportunity, buying the dip opportunity. But it's going to be that dynamic, buying the dip versus potentially risk off due to what may happen over the weekend. Alrighty, guys, we'll wrap it there. It's a good trading. Watch your back. It's going to be Friday trading. Alrighty, guys, let's see you back at 11:30 for the next update. Later.